Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Cool Water Show, which is where we talk about the Real Housewives universe over here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. It is episode, I think, 38. If I'm wrong, it's because I didn't check my work. I normally do, but you know what? We went rogue tonight. So
I think you're right.
I think I am too.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
pretty
you're right.
confident in that, but it's going to be episode 38 regardless. The Kurt
So
Schilling episode. So, no, we don't want to be the Kurt
it's
Schilling.
37 actually.
No, I think, no. I
I'm looking at
swear
our YouTube, and 2 weeks ago we did episode 36,
Damn. I really thought we did
and I don't think
37.
we streamed since then.
Okay. Well,
That's all right.
episode 37.
No one needs to know. I
It's
mean,
fine.
everyone who listens will know, but no one else needs to know.
That's fine. I want to look at our Acast to see. Is it 37? 30. What did I Cuz I think I uploaded the last episode
I think
on.
you did too. I think we both forgot to upload our episodes last time.
Oh, well, first of all, it says Cool Water Show episode 26 on Acast. So, what drugs was I doing that
Oh my
day?
goodness.
I was on the D drug drug
Oh well.
train there. I'm
It's
just
all
kidding. I
good.
don't do drugs.
It's all good.
So
The D.
yeah, it must have been it must have been 36. Let's change that real quick on here too. Public save. Sweet.
Never
Well,
happened. We're doing it
so
live, baby.
today is episode 38, and the next episode will be episode 37. We're just going to do the
Perfect.
numbers in reverse order. So
Perfect.
it's
And if
fine.
you don't listen to this, then you'll never know and you'll be confused forever.
Yeah. So we just don't like 37 is a weird number, to be fair. Like in the grand
Yeah.
scheme of numbers, it's a weird number.
Yeah.
It's prime.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
So
It's like almost 40, but like not.
yeah. And it's almost like if you think of an age, it's like, are you late 30s or mid 30s with
I ask myself
37?
that every day, Carrie. Every day.
Wait, I'm 34, which means Tosh is 36. So this is just a very random, but I don't know why I thought of this story. So my best friend's birthday is in January, and she was over maybe like February, April, or February, March, somewhere. Like it was after her birthday, but before mine. Mine's in
Okay.
June. And so Tasha's 2 years older than me. I guess closer to 2.5. And my roommate is a year older than me. So she had already turned 36, and she was like, Carrie, you're 34. I was like, no, I'm not, Tosh. And she's like, yes, you are. I'm 2 years older than you. And I was like, I'm 30. I know I'm 33, Tosh. She's like, yeah, but how? If I'm 2 years older, I was like, you had your birthday
Because
this
the
year,
months
I
are
didn't.
different. Yeah.
And she was like,
Oh.
so anyway, that's how I feel with numbers right now. So
Totally fair.
I just made this one up. We're on episode 37, 8. Fine. It's fine. So yeah, anyways, 37 is a weird number. It was my freshman year softball number. That's the
Oh,
only
okay.
connection I have to this number, because I was like on JV but also varsity. So like because I was a freshman and like one of the last people to choose, and I needed a certain size because I'm 4'10". I was stuck with like the weirdest numbers, and 37 was it.
I've never thought so much about the number 37 before until this moment.
As a math teacher, former math teacher, two
I
degrees
feel
in
like
math.
once a math teacher, always a math teacher.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
are
I
a
mean, I
math
still
teacher. You're just
tutor.
not practicing.
Yeah, I still
Kind of like a
tutor,
lawyer.
so-
Like you're always a lawyer.
Yeah,
You're just not practicing law.
right. So I have these types of thoughts about numbers a lot. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if you do this, but for me, a lot of times, especially like lower numbers, I like relate it to the channel it was for like the cable.
Oh,
that we had
yeah,
growing
for
up.
sure. What
So
was channel 37?
37.
I don't remember what channel 37.
Mine was.
Oh, USA.
I know that. ABC Family.
Mine was USA.
USA was 34 for me.
I think it was USA, and then maybe USA was 38 and like TNT was 37 or something like that, or TBS. It was like around, it was one of those.
37 was one of the more, like, we at least watched ABC Family, now known as Freeform.
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't remember ABC Family.
Yeah.
Does
Well,
Freeform still
MTV.
exist?
Yes.
Yeah,
Before that, it was Fox Family. Do you remember when it was Fox
oh
Family?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
MTV used to be Channel 29, and that was like,
oh,
it was like, oh, Channel 29. And then it changed to like 53. And it was never the
53
same.
was
It was never
MTV.
the
Oh
same
no,
after that.
52 was MTV for me. 53 was Disney Channel. So we
Hmm.
flipped between those quite a bit.
Nickelodeon was 22, and then it was like 33 or something like
It
that.
was
Weird.
44 for me.
Bravo was 42, I think.
I didn't get into Bravo while I had cable, so I don't know. But VH1 was 61. I used to watch a lot of VH1 when they used to have like the I love the 90s,
Oh, yeah.
those
They need
top
to bring those
quality content.
back.
Oh my gosh. I mean, we're far enough from the like far enough removed from to do like I love the O's or the
I
aughts.
think they did one.
Did they?
Either
And
they did or like CNN has these too, which are not
yeah,
like
but
as funny, but they're still interesting and they like bring you back nostalgia wise. They're not like comedic, but CNN definitely did. I like not, it was not called I Love the 2000s, but it was like the 2000s or whatever they call it.
yeah, I definitely wouldn't have watched that.
Those are actually
But
kind of good, but I don't think you
I'm
can actually watch them because they did do I Love the 2000s. It came out in 2014.
okay.
They could even do the I Love the 2010s
That's what I was about to say. Are
because like
we far enough
2010 was 12
removed?
years ago now at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, the best parts of those shows were the people that they brought in, and
Yeah,
just their commentary was so good. But
agreed.
I watched those a lot.
Yeah, those were great. Those are really great. I'm like looking through the list of people.
I remember the commercials like "It's the big Kahuna summer here on VH1."
I don't remember that.
I do, I
Wow.
definitely do. Uh, so anyway, we are 7 minutes in and have not discussed Real Housewives,
Not at
but we
all.
have discussed a lot of numbers.
Yeah, the
So if
number
you love
37.
numbers,
Mm-hmm.
we're here for you. Anyway, so Real Housewives this week. We have to talk about 2 episodes each of Salt Lake City and Potomac.
Yeah. Well,
Based
we talked
off
about
of
this like a little before, and I feel like these episodes, it's good for us that I think we're doing both together. Also, I thought we only had one of Potomac, but I guess we have both.
there was two because I had to watch two today.
Right. Um, I think it's good because we all the episodes kind of bleed into each other.
Yeah, these felt like 2 episodes that could have been made into like
Yeah.
one longer. I like if they had
Mm-hmm.
shown back to back, it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess let's start with Salt Lake City because it's finally
Sure.
picking up a little bit.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about Salt Lake City.
Perfect. We have decided that we're not going to necessarily like recap like scene for scene.
Yeah.
Um,
You guys know what
but
happened. You don't need us to tell you.
it was so I was thrown off when I was watching this morning because they started it off in like an old timey like
So
newspaper.
weird. That
I
was
was
this
like,
week's episode, right?
I mean, I thought it was last week's episode. Either way, whatever
I think
episode
it
it was,
I have no idea. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
because it introduced. No, I'm actually 100% confident it was
Yeah, you're right.
2 weeks ago because it introduced like 3 main points of drama we had
Right, that we
coming up.
hadn't talked about yet. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And I was very thrown off by it.
Weird.
So,
Weird choices.
yeah, the weirdest choice for me in all of this, and this is what I want to start with because I feel like this name isn't going to come up much throughout the rest of the conversation,
Okay.
is like, there's like no Meredith in these 2 episodes.
No, like almost not at all. Other than another tub scene that like we just don't need.
Yeah, about like foot
We like
placement
don't
and
yeah, foot in the taint. I just like I can't while talking about Brooksy, I can't like it just makes me want to like go retch out my window. I don't often or ever retch out my window. There are better places to do that, but my window is here in my view, so that's the first thing that came to my mind.
yeah, there was just not a lot of Meredith, which
I'm fine
was
with it.
fine. She, in a way, the way that her role was demoted at Heather Gay's choir auditions
It's
from
like, yeah.
judge to assistant. That kind of is like what happened over these two
Yeah,
episodes, where it's
I
just like
agree.
there's only 5 cast members and you're getting no screen time. In the
Yeah.
two bet like I don't think this is an arguable statement. I think this is objective fact. Of the season, these have been the 2 best episodes. Not saying they're the best
Yes.
episodes ever of Salt Lake by any means. That would
No.
be offensive to like season 1 especially. But at least of this season, it's like, okay, we're not like revolving around Whitney through all of
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Still a lot of
No, I
Whitney,
agree.
but we're not revolving around Whitney.
I agree. I think that these 2 episodes, I think something just feels off about this season. I was reading a little bit. I think the ratings have been down as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're the only ones that feel this way. Leandro, who is the former co-host of this podcast before I
Yes.
came along,
RIP. I would spill water out for you for my last homie, but I spilled my water last podcast, so we're
no,
not
we
going to do
still
it two
love
in a
him though.
row.
It's not. He's
Oh, for
welcome
sure.
anytime. Would love to
Yeah,
have him.
we've kind of told him that and then just never really followed through.
I know
But
it's an open invite, but he said he hasn't been watching either. Like it's just like, and he's an avid Housewives fan, just like we are. Like it's just something about it is not striking. I feel that way about a lot of TV this season. I feel the same exact way about this season of Survivor, and I don't know if it's because Survivor overlapped a little bit, at least with the finale of Big Brother, and the finale of Big Brother was pretty epic. So it's just like kind of still stayed in the ether for a really long time after the show was over, and I feel like it took Survivor's storm. I almost, or whatever, I kind of almost wonder, took its thunder. I almost kind of wonder if the same thing is happening with Salt Lake because of the Beverly Hills reunion being still so top of mind for everybody, because like Rinna's still on social media. We're still like kind of reeling from the Kathy of it all. We know that Kyle and Kathy are still not talking. It's like there's still like Housewives news happening. There's like New York news. There's a lot of things happening. So I wonder if that's kind of just like taking the thunder of Salt Lake City.
well, that, and when you compare it to the present of the other season it's on with, is Potomac. And like
Yeah.
Potomac delivers every single time just
Yep.
because, I mean,
The cast is just incredible.
exactly. I was about to say, if you like lineup for lineup any city,
Right.
I was thinking about this today actually, of just like, I tweeted, I don't know if you saw this because I didn't get any likes on it, and I figured if you saw it you would have liked it.
Oh yeah, I probably didn't see it.
Can you pay attention to me, Katie? Put alerts
Sorry.
on for
I'll
my
put alerts on.
put me in your notification summary. My tweets.
The alerts that I get for the Cool Water Show Twitter that we just do not use are like wild, by the way. I don't know why I get alerts for them and not my actual Twitter, but they're like off.
I have that
I get alerts
Yeah.
all the time, and they're just like crazy TMZ stories, but it keeps you up to
Yes.
date with like what's going on.
Yeah, that makes sense. But like Robin might be my overall number 1 housewife. She might have
Oh,
dethroned
I love her.
Candy.
Yeah. I
Like-
prefer Robin to Candy.
Yeah, I just feel like because I watched Candy first, maybe. No, maybe I watched Potomac first. I don't know.
You definitely
I
watched
just-
Potomac first.
Yeah, I watched Potomac first. I don't know. I love Candy, but there is a chance that Robin is in the number 1 spot.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't
if you
argue.
I was thinking about like, you go down the lineup, and I'm gonna exclude like Wendy and Mia from this. I'm gonna take the top. If you go top 5,
Mhm.
because I guess you can if you do it this way. Let's be very like sports about it. Right now, the current smallest cast is Salt Lake City. They have
Yeah.
5 full time. So take everybody's top 5,
Yep.
and Potomac wins hands down. You have Giselle, Robin, Karen, Candace, and Ashley.
Yeah, these are like all-time housewives. Like these housewives will go down in history as some of the best housewives ever. Like the fact that Potomac has the most OGs ever left on their cast, I think the only one that's ever really been let go is Charisse and Katie, but they've both come back in friend of capacities. Like I think
both back this
historically,
season.
yeah. Historically, I think that like this cast is the longest standing, like with the most original cast members, because they struck gold.
Yeah, and we see it in other cities where you keep the same people around for too long and it just becomes like too repetitive, too boring. You get like alliances in Beverly Hills forming, or like someone's trying to tame Teresa again or whatever. You know what I mean? Like take her spotlight, where each of these women, like you could argue that Giselle is like the front runner, but really there's like Karen and her
Yeah.
craziness, and like even though Robin is seen as like Giselle's sidekick, like this season especially with Robin
Mm-hmm.
just stepping it up, and like Ashley Darby is Ashley Darby, and
Yeah.
Candace is just like, I don't know, top 5 of every cast. Like Potomac destroys everybody.
Yes, I agree. I
And
totally
so
agree.
to bring it back to Salt Lake City, I think another reason we struggle is like, okay, well, on Sunday, I get to watch Potomac. And the people who are choosing to watch not watch Potomac, I don't understand you.
Yeah, they're racist. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oops, I said it. The people who don't watch Potomac are also the people who don't watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. What do those two
Yep.
things have in common?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, but they're the two best cities of the franchise. So
Yeah.
you're
Hence,
missing out. It's your loss.
those are, I've grown an appreciation for New Jersey, having watched it all the way
Yeah.
through. Um, but if
New
it's
Jersey is just a
like,
different breed. It's so
yeah,
different than every other city.
but if you said like, okay, Carrie, you can't leave the couch for 24 hours and you can only watch one city of Real Housewives, who are you watching? I'm likely going Potomac. And then if someone was like, oh, Potomac's broken right now, you can't watch it, I would go Atlanta.
Yeah, I think if I had to start at season 1 of something right now, it would be Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, early Atlanta is good.
Yeah. I started rewatching a while ago. I didn't get through season 1 just because there was so much TV happening. But like
Yeah.
some of the just season 1 just hits off with such like it's like a rocket ship. It's just like you forget how many iconic moments just came from season 1 alone.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Salt Lake City is like, I think, suffering from quite a few things, between not having enough time between seasons for people to like, I don't know, fulfill the cliche of like
Mm-hmm.
time heals all wounds. Not enough time for wound healing. You have
Yep.
Meredith being like petty and annoying ways of like the I Love New York stuff. And Whitney is like the centerpiece of it all.
Yeah.
And everything Jen Shaw says is a fucking lie.
Literally everything. And also, what I was reading a little bit on Reddit was that they did film some with Jenny before she got fired because of her tweets. So it's like, it almost is like, I guess they had to cut some out. So some of the editing is weird. Just like, it just feels
Yeah.
like there's something really weird about
Yeah.
this. I think the first trip they took was really janky. They're taking another trip to San Diego, which is bound to be just as janky. No shade to San Diego. No shade to Scottsdale, Arizona, even though they were shading Scottsdale, Arizona pretty heavily on the show. But like the house looked like it was from the 80s. We talked a ton about that wine situation on the pedal. What is it called? A pedal bar?
Pedal
Pedal
Tavern.
Tavern, dumping wine in the vagina. Like it was just a lot. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
Matt saw that scene the other day and he's like, we were in a hotel in DC and I was just getting ready and Bravo was on the TV and he was like, oh my God, they're pouring wine in her vagina. I was like, oh, trust me, I went on a huge rant about this and had a tweet thread about it. Like I couldn't get over it. Couldn't get over that. Still not over it. Can't wait to see the hijinks that we get into in San Diego, California.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask a question. If Jen Shaw can't leave the United States, can't they still go to Hawaii or like Puerto Rico?
I don't know.
Is it continental
I
United
haven't
States?
been like arrested by the FBI to have experience in this.
It just feels
Maybe.
like if she can't leave the US, then like she
Yeah.
could still go to Hawaii at least. Like at
Yeah.
least give us that.
Yeah. I don't know. I do
I
not
don't
know.
need to see another suburb.
So anyway, there was like no Meredith in these 2 episodes. I don't know what it says about Meredith right now and what she's adding to this cast, because obviously more season needs to play out for us
Yeah.
to really evaluate how things are going. But um, I'm not wanting to oppose shakeups, and like it says something to me when there's only 5 of you and one of you isn't in it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and these episodes are a bit better. Like, yeah, she wasn't in like a key player in any of the components of the drama
Right.
between all of it, but So I just want to put out there, wasn't a lot of Meredith, but that means we get to focus on some other things, like where do you want to go next? Which player? Which contestant?
Oh
Which
God. Should we talk
character?
about Angie Harrington? Because I can't.
Oh
She's like
yeah,
the Joker to me, and I can't get her out of my mind.
yeah.
She gives off like big Joker Harley Quinn energy, and it like is unsettling.
So Angie's a friend of this season.
Yeah. Although she's driving the full storyline right now.
Yes, her and her husband,
Yeah.
Chris
What did Jen
Harrington.
Shaw call him? Fat elf on a shelf.
Yeah.
What a mess.
um. So here's what was mentioned, I think, like a couple episodes ago, but the main focus with especially Angie right now is Heather and Angie are apparently good friends at this point. Whitney also gets along with Angie. Lisa Barlow hates Angie.
Yep.
Jen Shaw hates Angie because Angie's husband created a burner account on Insta called Shaw Exposed.
Yeah. And for anyone who doesn't remember the blip that was Angie last season, she was in the first like one or two episodes. She had a party at her house, and then her and Lisa Barlow got into a big fight about like a catering company or something. And then that's why they were no longer friends. But it also played out on the internet. Like there were receipts shared. I mean, it's just so stupid. Who cares? But like, that's where this fake Instagram account came from. Was like to basically bash Lisa, but they chose the name Shaw Exposed, even though it was a Lisa bashing account.
Yeah. And Jen Shaw and her husband, Coach Shaw, took offense to this because they used, it wasn't even Jen Shaw Exposed, it was Shaw Exposed. So she
Yeah.
felt like it was of the whole family. And
And you don't really see Sharif get offended by much, and he's
yeah,
pissed about
yeah,
this.
he's not happy with this at all. So the the confession of this to me is kind of interesting because it's Meredith and her husband at dinner with Angie and her husband Chris, and Meredith says like I never really became friends with Angie because of Lisa, like, and respecting that
Right.
they didn't get along, but I actually like things about her. Let's see if we can become friends. So
Slash,
it's
I want to continue to pour salt in the wound of Lisa, so I'm going to go hang out with this person that was spreading rumors about her.
yes,
Yeah. On camera.
and so here Chris is explaining like, yeah, I in a moment of weakness made a burner account and used it to bash Lisa, and that's my fault. And Meredith is like, who hasn't made a burner? Like, it's
This
fine.
pissed me off so much, by the way, because like regardless of anything, my feeling on this is really what made me, I'm not a Meredith fan, obviously, but this is really what made me be like, never Meredith, is that obviously there are so many trolls on the internet that do this every day that have no relation whatsoever to anybody on the show or the cast or producers or just rando weirdo people that do this. The fact that this man is sitting across from you saying that he's like feeding into this toxicity on the internet just to take down someone that they actually know and used to be friends with, like, and you're like, that's fine as long as you learn from your mistakes. Like, you should not want this parasite in your group. You should be like,
Right.
oh, this is fucked up. And if he did that to Lisa, who knows what they're going to do to me? I don't want to be involved in this shit. Like, regardless of anything, they should have each other's backs in that sense, because like the internet stuff is so gross that like the fact that she's like, it's fine, is like, that's like a huge red flag to me about Meredith and Seth. Like, that should
Yeah.
be so off limits what they did. So off limits.
Right. I 100% agree with
Like,
you.
to have someone that you know make one of those accounts, someone that you used to be good friends with, it's fucked up.
Someone who's on the payroll.
Right.
I mean, like Chris
right.
isn't, but Angie is in some way. So
Yeah. It's like that to me gave me a lot of pause with Meredith. The fact that she wasn't like, ooh, I don't like the idea. Even in a confessional, like I can get it if she doesn't say something straight up, but she should have been like, well, you know, like the internet stuff really needs to be off limits. Like the fact that she didn't say something about it in her confessional and be like, yeah, this can like I don't want this around me. Like, this is bad news. This is not okay. It's inexcusable. Regardless of anything, we're all in the show together. And like, that's a line you shouldn't cross. It's not like he like murdered someone, but like, this is weirdo behavior. And if you're capable of like that weirdo behavior, then who knows?
Right. I mean, at least like Kevin Durant made his to respond to people who are talking shit about him.
Kevin Durant made a fake Instagram account.
Oh, it was
I don't
Twitter.
follow anything.
It was a Twitter. It was.
Oh my God.
I should have mentioned that, but yeah, that was like a big thing a few years ago. He got caught with his burner.
That's so
I think
funny.
he like. I
Forgot
can't
to
remember
log
if he
out or something?
accidentally like switched like or whatever, but he got caught replying to someone, and he was just like, yeah, I don't know, I can't say it from my account, and sometimes I get upset what people are saying about me. So
Fair.
like, listen, uh if you're gonna use a burner, use it for good, not for evil. And this was for evil. This is just not your. Yeah, there's really no excuse for this. So
If you're going to make a burner, do it on Twitter and get Twitter Blue and make a verified account of a famous person and then just embarrass them, because Elon Musk is allowing you to do that. So do it. At least have your fun while you can, you know? That I condone.
Someone who's like in a group of my friends was like, what Elon's doing with Twitter is genius. Like, to pay to become verified. And we're like, are you on Twitter? Do you see what's happening right now? Like,
genius.
Yeah. And he was like, once it gets figured out of like how to validate your identity that you are who you say you are, then I'm like, I don't
think they care.
No.
You could be anybody. You just pay the money.
Yeah. So they shut that feature down as of right now.
They did.
Did you also see that? I don't have a lot of understanding of this. I can only speak of what I understand of it in terms of the software that my hospital uses that I work with. But essentially, yesterday, Twitter was running a development like live in prod, which is like so people
like
can
in their live environment.
And not doing like not just moving like the finished version over, but instead like they were like updating things, like not good at all. Because at least like with the software that we work with, that like you build everything,
and then you put it in like in a dev environment,
and then they were like doing it live, like they were what's his fucking name? Like, we'll do it live. Just on one of the biggest social media platforms.
Listen, with some of the stuff I've read about what's going on there, I don't blame those people. Like, do whatever you got to do. It sounds like people are like sleeping there. He's threatening to fire. It sounds like a horrible situation. What's going on at Twitter for workers?
Yeah. No, it sucks because like I hope we don't. I don't want to like lose Twitter. It's definitely my favorite like social media platform.
Me too.
And the way that it's already changing, because like when someone with a check mark is saying like the shit that they're now allowed to because it's not actually them, and I don't know, just god damn it, Elon. God damn it.
Can't have anything nice. Not that Twitter was like the nicest, but it definitely is my favorite social media platform, and I'm sad about it. But I was saying earlier today, I'm glad that it's at least going down in like an epic flame of glory that we can all sit back and watch and laugh at, instead of just like randomly disappearing one day. At least we get to always have these memories of, remember the last days of Twitter? That was wild.
Yeah. Man, what am I going to do if Twitter goes down?
I don't know. I wonder the same thing.
Because, like, I don't want to engage via pictures. I barely take pictures.
No, yeah.
And I can't go back to Facebook. That's just...
No,
I mean, I'm on there, but I'm not, like, active on there.
Yeah, I'm not on there.
So, I don't know. Anyway, let's bring it back. So, Angie Harrington and husband, supposedly just the husband, made this burner account. I said supposedly.
I know, but like this is to them. Okay.
Yeah. They have this burner account. So Whitney doesn't know of the burner account story supposedly until we get to the choir auditions for Heather. And Angie and Whitney had put together their little performance. So they show up. Jen Shaw is supposed to be Ryan Seacrest. Meredith was supposed to be a judge, but got downgraded to assistant. And Lisa Barlow wasn't like expected to be there, but showed up to audition.
Lisa wasn't expected to be there because she posted Heather's dad's obituary on Twitter because Heather said she didn't text Lisa, or she texted after Heather's dad died and said, "I hope your dad is okay." So she was trying to prove that no, she did not. She posted the receipts.
Mm-hmm. We'll get into that. So drama ensues because Jen Shaw flips out.
Well, some other lady who I don't know, who's obviously a friend of, whose name I do not know. She's the other Angie, I think.
I thought
she started freaking out. I think that's, I don't know. I think she's the other Angie, the one that was like upset on behalf of Lisa.
Okay.
But I don't, it. Honestly, I don't know.
Salt Lake City friends.
There is one that whose name begins with a D. I think, is it Heather's business partner?
Drea?
Yeah.
Oh, it accidentally filled in Friends of the Library on Google.
Friends of the Library.
Yeah. Meet the season 3 friends. There's Dana.
Who is Dana?
Or Dana. That's who I think was yelling
Dana.
at her.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's 2 Angies. Okay, maybe that wasn't who was yelling at her. There are 2
the other
Angies, and there's Dana.
Yeah, I think Dana came later or something. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, but I thought it was the other Angie.
It takes me a whole season to learn someone's name. So
yeah.
Other Angie is a friend of Jen Shaw.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then
she threw the Harlem, was it called the Harlem Nights party in the beginning of the season? Which felt like a year ago at this point.
All right. So, and yeah, so other Angie is pro Jen Shaw, and it seems that Dana is anti Jen Shaw. She's the one that in the she goes
in the preview, something happens, right?
Yeah, she's a real estate agent who goes way back with Heather Gay.
Okay.
And all right, so that's that. So I'm going to skip over the friend of stuff because, I mean, except for Angie Harrington, whoever got mad. But Jen Shaw, yeah, people are like getting mad on behalf of, getting mad on behalf of Lisa. But then Jen Shaw like brings it up a notch. 2 notches, 3 notches.
Yes, but she's mad about herself. Even though the account didn't say anything negative about Jen, from what we know, it was really focused on Lisa, but the name was Jen Shaw, or Shaw Exposed. Mm-hmm. So she's mad about the name.
Yes.
And that the account was created in general, probably.
Right.
She broke the news to Heather. Heather had no idea with these like blow up aliens sitting around them. Heather did not know that this account existed until Jen told her.
Yes. Also true.
Which is relevant, I guess.
Yeah. And I don't know if we want to talk about that like now or later. I guess we can get into it with the Jen or Heather part of it all. But knowing what Angie has done, I think lays the groundwork for like everybody else's involvement in things throughout these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to add on about Angie?
I don't believe at all that she did not know that her husband did this. And I'm so I think we were talking about secondhand embarrassment, but off podcast. Speaking of secondhand embarrassment, these outfits and this performance was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my 2 adult women ever do in my life. I said this about the vagina. Yes, that is actually the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. This is the second most embarrassing thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just didn't really pay it much attention, to be honest.
But like they were at someone's house like practicing this dance routine. They choreographed a dance to When the Saints Go Marching In. This is what elementary school kids do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they show their parents. Like this is embarrassing shit.
Yeah.
I'm mortified that these people exist on the planet Earth that I live on.
Yeah, it's valid. Completely valid.
That's all I have to say.
One last thing with it that you kind of brought up was like, you don't think that she didn't know. Didn't she try to make the argument with Jen
Yes.
saying, like, I didn't know? Are you saying that your husband knew everything that you're doing? And Jen's like,
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I'm
She's like, I'm
innocent.
innocent. I was like, well,
I did think
about
that
that,
was
Jen.
a somewhat like valid point for Angie to bring up, because if Jen Shaw's going to be the one saying that, like, girl, you currently live in a glass house. What, you better watch where you're throwing those fucking stones.
No, I agree. And not to defend Jen Shaw here, but I think they're just apples and oranges. Like there is no way, like how weird would it be if you and I were in an argument and then Lavelle made an account saying Katie exposed and then just like talked shit about me all over Instagram and you didn't know about it. Like, wouldn't you be like, bro, that's weird as fuck? Same thing if Matt did that to you. I'd be like, you didn't even tell me that you did that? That's weird. That's weird as hell. Like, there's no way that she did not know.
I'm not going to lie. If Lavelle were to do something like that, I really don't think he would tell me, because he would want to protect me. He would want me to be able to play dumb. Or maybe not play dumb, but like be like ignorance is bliss type of thing. I do think that if it, like, say all of a sudden like you turn on me and go do like this same exact podcast on a network without me, and I just am like, fuck that bitch,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, and I complain to it about him, given I think he would be like, wait, is that the girl who I like fell asleep in the booth in New York City? Like, that her?
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, yeah, that one. And he'd be like, oh, so like, are you going to podcast anymore? Like, I think his reaction wouldn't be, let's make a burner, but let's pretend he escalated it to let's make a burner. Like, oh, I know how I can get back at her for Kari. I don't think he'd tell me.
That's fair. But
I also don't live
let's
with
say
him.
I brought it up. True. You don't live with him and you're not married. But let's say
we also like see each other once a week. So.
Right. So like it's more reasonable that you may not know. But like let's say he did that and you didn't know about it and then I confronted you about it. Wouldn't you be like, wait, what? Like, that's weird. I mean, I guess she knows about it, but she could at least, if Matt did that, I'd be like, yeah, it was fucked up. Like, what do you want me to say? I didn't know about it. What do you want me to say about it? Were you yelling at me? Go yell at him. Like, what? I don't know. But she was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like Angie had any like
the right defensive.
Yeah, she didn't feel it. Didn't feel like she thought it was wrong. Yeah, no, she's a fucking weirdo. She's a fucking weirdo.
So like, I'm not defending her by any means, but like, it doesn't surprise me that, like, let's pretend she didn't know. Let's pretend she's the Erica Jane of this situation and didn't know. Anyone who's not watching the YouTube of this, you just missed quite the Katie facial expression. Let's pretend that she allegedly didn't know, right?
Let's pretend.
Angie is so weird that like her reaction just like that she had on the show wouldn't surprise me. Like, it's like, oh, that might like be on brand for you. I don't know. Like, I think she knew.
Oh, I'm convinced that she knew. Plus, someone else was like, she liked to post 30 seconds after a comment, or like 30 seconds after, and she was like liking comments, like they showed it on the screen that she was liking the comments.
Yeah, so I definitely think she knew.
But to compare it to what Jen and Sharif are going through, like, I think that's a low blow because there are kids involved. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot. So I'm not, and I feel like it's worth a conversation at some point, probably not right now, about like why we don't feel any type of way about Coach Shaw, because like, even if he didn't know, we're really like raking Erica Jane over the coals for benefiting from all this money that was stolen from victims. And that's exactly what's happening with Coach Shaw, but we're not giving him the same shit, whatever. I think it's because he's not outwardly not showing as much empathy, or not showing empathy. He's not really showing empathy either, but he's not showing empathy the way Erica is. But like, it's just such a different situation that like he is kind of responsible for it because he's dealing with the fallout of everything that's going on, and their family is too.
Yeah. The the only reason I bring it up is because I think that if anyone were to say like that's anybody else besides Jen Shaw made the point of like shouldn't you know what your husband's doing? Like I think it holds a little bit more
Yeah.
value to
Yes.
because the low hanging fruit comeback is exactly what Angie said of like
Right.
bitch, this is like there's one thing between a private account on an Instagram on or like on your phone on Instagram versus your livelihood has come
Yeah.
from this. So I just think that if anybody besides Jen Shaw made the comment of like, that's your husband. You're trying to tell me because like the drama happened with you. Like your husband wasn't around for that. You're trying to tell me that his decision only to do this, I have a
Right.
hard time believing it. Although I did just say I think that I mean given Lavelle wouldn't do that in the first place, but like he wouldn't tell me if he did it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that like it could have held a little bit more value coming from almost anybody else.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. I do think Jen's sentiment though was correct. Like,
Oh,
let's
I
pretend that
agree.
she's not going to jail for 100
Guilty.
years. Like, yeah, and didn't plead guilty to a crime. I think her point is completely valid. Like, that's your husband. Like, you're still responsible for whatever he did. And these are your friends. They're not his friends. They're your
Yeah.
friends. And he's making fake Instagram accounts with my name on them, talking shit about your friend. It's like, it's weirdo
Yeah.
behavior.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely weirdo behavior. Let's get into Jen Shaw while she's like so heavy into or like on this topic right now.
Yeah.
So Shaw's couple episodes, they went to a trampoline park.
Yeah, what a date.
And Jen,
Blow up aliens all over the place.
yeah, I was just about to bring that up. So Jen went to Heather's house because
I think Heather went to Jen's house.
Heather went to Jen's.
Because Jen was like, I threw a birthday party for a 5-year-old.
Oh, right.
I think it was
thought
at Jen's.
it would just make so much more sense for Heather to have all those big weird
I
aliens in her.
agree.
Like if you say which
Feels like it would fit
housewife.
her aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So wait, Jen called Heather up to be like, "Come over. I have to tell you this." Well,
I guess so.
because to me it would feel more natural if Jen went to Heather's, be like, no, and Heather went. No, Jen went to Heather's. Yeah, because Jen had the information. Jen went to Heather's to be like, "Yo, we gotta talk." But anyway, Jen, Heather, and some aliens met in a living room.
Yep.
We learned that the least inappropriate place to put the plug part of where you blow up an inflatable, at least on an alien blow up doll, is on the back of its head.
You know, I have never in my life thought to look for this. Because
Well, how many blow up dolls? Have,
well,
like,
no,
you
never
experienced?
really at all. But I just like, this would never enter my mind. So when Heather was like, oh, let me take a look at my friend, I was like, she's really trying to look at this alien's dick right now. But she wasn't. She was like, oh, where do they put the blow up thing? Because it's inappropriate. Sometimes they put them in inappropriate places for kids. And I was like, I would have literally never thought about this.
No. Same. Although I've never dealt with like anything human shaped to like have to blow
No,
up.
me neither. Other than a balloon. I've never blown up anything that's not a balloon. Or I guess like maybe a pool floaty, but barely.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I've definitely done like the tubes for pools.
Yeah.
So or like other pool toys, but nothing like that. But
no.
Jen says like, "Hey, I know you and Angie, you guys are boys, but here's what you need to know." She made this burner account called Shaw Exposed and used it more to talk shit about Lisa, but like she created it and used my last name, and I'm not a fan of this whatsoever.
Yeah, and Heather was like, wow, I don't even know what to say.
She did give a reaction of like, that's completely inappropriate. But
she did. But actions speak louder than words, don't they?
Exactly. It was the next thing I was going to say, that her reaction was like Angie has and or her husband, all the above, have absolutely no right to do this. This is offensive. This is a big deal. But Angie's still at Heather's auditions. I don't know if it was the next day, but very soon after.
Mm-hmm.
And
And Jen is shocked to see her there
mm-hmm.
with
But she
no heads
asked
up from Heather.
Jen, exactly. You asked Jen to be the host and still have Angie showing up to things.
Yeah. Messy.
Like you also said, we got a scene of Coach Shaw really being like, I'm pissed about this because you're
I
bringing our last name into it. It's not just Jen.
I agree with him 1,000%. Like, he said something along the lines of like, you put this account out there publicly, then you need to take accountability publicly and put an apology out there publicly for as long as this account was, because like you didn't hesitate to use our name to drag people. And like, I understand it's all Jen's fault because she pled guilty, so we could say that she's guilty, but she put their family out into this situation, but like their family's dealing with a lot, so like you're really gonna just, it's not the kid, it's like kids and her mom and who knows, Coach Shaw, whatever, but it's his family's name, right? So like it just feels like it's a low blow to him. It's insulting to his whole family.
Yeah. And I thought that he made an incredibly valid point of, listen, we're already getting so much shit from so many
Right.
like blind troll accounts that for you as someone who's like in the community, in the show, like to be doing this, but on top of it, you just don't know what the comment is going to be that's going to cause someone to snap and hurt themselves or hurt other people. And I mean, Jen Shaw might be a criminal and a piece of trash, but we don't need to be breaking someone down to the point where they are contemplating suicide. Which, like,
Yeah.
she's brought up. She hasn't directly said the S word, but the ideations of like, maybe it's just easier if I'm not around, or like I just
Yeah.
don't want to wake up the next day, or whatever it is. Like, she's made comments like that this season. And for you to be someone who's already like, you're too close to the sun to be
Yes.
a douche on top of it.
And that's kind of my point with Meredith, for her not to immediately be like, yo, this is fucked up. Like, because of exactly that reason. Like, you're already in it. Like, it's bad enough that strangers do this shit. Someone that you know that's in this inner circle now is doing it. That, like, that crosses a line into, and it's, I don't want to say like it's dangerous. I don't want to make it seem like it's like this huge deal, the worst thing anyone's ever done. But it's like, it just shows the character of a person who's able to do that. That would like freak me out to know. I would be like, I don't know what this person's capable of. The fact that like they know what this family's going through and they're using their name and they're people that we actually know and sit and break bread with, and they're open to doing this, and just like adding to the echo chamber of these social media trolls. Like, this is weird. This is weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Meredith is like, nah, who hasn't done it?
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else really from Jen in this? Jen was very much like vocal about this account being made.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we want to keep talking about Jen and then lead into Heather, but Jen is really upset with Heather because of, Heather didn't really stand up for Jen in the situation when she came outside. She was like, no, I think Angie's husband is a good person. And it's like, Angie Harrington was sitting on Heather's lap and Jen was upset about that. It's just like, she was very upset about Heather and, bless you, Heather's nonchalant acceptance of this information.
I don't know if I'm about to say something controversial, but okay. I'm prefacing with that. Heather's confessional, when she made a comment along the lines of like, yes, Jen's mad about this account, but Jen is really mad that she is like going through all of this like court stuff, and I think is right now in this moment very much like focusing to be mad on this, to not be mad about that. I kind of agreed with that, where she was like, what are you really mad about here? which I think she has a right to be mad that her name is being used, her last name is being used, and like how it affects people around her. But I felt like there was a lot more intensity to it than like it deserved,
Yeah.
because she can't. I mean, that thing is she's a liar throughout the whole fucking season. So it was just
Right.
I was like, I kind of I agree with Heather in this one. It doesn't mean that if Heather's actually her friend, she should stand up for what Jen is upset about, and I agree with that entirely. But Heather's sentiment, like, you're not really as mad about this as you are like portraying. You are mad about the bigger picture and are doing this.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I think Heather is being really shitty to all of her friends here in this season so far. I mean, it feels like Heather has been always super loyal to Jen and Whitney, and it feels like this season that's changing in a weird way. Like, I'm not saying she has to be blindly loyal to Jen, but be Switzerland at least. Like, just don't
Yeah.
have Angie Harrington sitting on your lap. Don't invite her over and or to this thing without telling Jen, who's like a big part of it. She's the host. Like, it's weird that she's. It seems like she's on Angie's side. Like, she came outside and she didn't say like, well, yeah, no, I don't think Chris is a bad guy, but this is like really fucked up. Like, he shouldn't have done that's fucked up. She was just like, no, I don't think he's bad. I think he's a good person or whatever it is that she said. And it's like, wait, whose side are you on here? Because it feels like you're on Angie's side.
Well,
And I
yeah,
agree with her
especially.
saying she thinks Angie's going to get her on yachts and dinners and whatever else it is, and that's why she's doing that. Like, I'm not saying that Jen is wrong about that.
No, I also agree that
Yeah,
there's definitely something to
it's the cloud
it.
chasing.
Yeah. Um, the thing with Heather for me in all of this is that when your reaction is much stronger in like private with just Jen versus when like things are escalated and you don't take as strong of a stance. You don't necessarily need to like come out swinging or yelling or
Right.
screaming or anything, but when your stance is much more dulled down because of the people you are now in front of versus just with Jen, because the night before, whenever it was, she's like, that is not acceptable, that is
Yeah.
despicable, and then it's like, oh, but he's a nice guy.
Right. Right. It's
So
it's weird, and we kind of saw this with Heather a little bit with the Lisa Barlow rumors because her and Whitney were laughing about it in the bedroom together in Scottsdale, Arizona. Like, they were laughing. And then when it got brought up at the table, she was like, I had no part. And I do believe that she did not hear it at the Jazz game or whatever the question is. But like, you were still laughing about it an hour ago in this bedroom and being like,
yeah.
oh, like, you wanted to hear the tea. Like, don't pretend like you didn't. You wanted to. So you're not like super innocent here.
No, she's not. And her like her whole, I don't want to say demeanor, that's not the right, her MO on the show is like very much worn out.
Yes, I agree.
It's like if you're a friend to everybody, you're a friend to nobody. And I get that, like, now this is when she is probably most vocally taking a stand against not being Lisa's friend. Like, I'm not, I'll raise my hand that I'm not your friend. So I guess she's no longer a friend to everybody, but she still was even trying to be Lisa's friend,
Yeah.
or making like, or like doing things for Lisa that to rekindle it. I don't know, that it's just, I'd rather you pick a side.
Well,
And
yeah. I feel like we kind of talked about this last time we talked about Salt Lake, about how Heather, I think I said that she just strikes me as like a fan because she
mhm,
wants to give people what they want to see and she wants to be like the relatable one.
yeah.
And I feel like her true colors are actually coming out this season with the way that she's been dealing with Whitney, which we'll talk about. And this, like, I just feel like I'm not liking what I'm seeing of Heather. I feel like reunion Heather is the real Heather because she comes out and
Mhm.
she's just like a monster at the reunions. I feel like that's her for real. And I feel like we're getting that in the show now as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with that. We can get into how her and Whitney are doing.
Yeah, it's
So,
not
was there
great.
any? No.
Well, there's also the Lisa Barlow stuff,
Yeah.
but we could, yeah, whatever.
We'll come
Well,
back to
let's
Lisa
talk Whitney.
Barlow.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get. So, I mean, we don't really get too many Heather Whitney scenes these episodes because there's this tension between them from their girls' trip to Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah.
But Whitney goes over to Heather's house and was like, we need to talk this out.
Yeah.
And Whitney was like, well, I don't think you've been a good friend to me. I don't think you realize how much I was hurting because she didn't tell anybody specifically about the abuse, but just
Yeah.
expected people to feel bad based off of what was being said. I think we were all a little confused, but regardless, like, I think
Yeah.
she expected Heather to just take it for what it's worth, which she didn't. And there was fights there.
Yeah. I hate to ever be on Whitney's side with something, but I'm on Whitney's side here. And I think it's because Heather is just so not empathetic to anything that Whitney is saying. And she's just like, well, you came to my event. So how did I know there was this resentment? And it's like, well, yeah, I'm trying to be supportive to your thing, but I still have feelings about what happened. So like, I just want to address them with you. And Heather just went like super aggro for no reason. Like Whitney was being completely reasonable, even though she had a big lipstick mark on her sweater
I
and
didn't
just
see that.
was a mess. But it was like she had a white sweater with a huge lipstick mark on
Oh.
it. But yeah, I think she was trying to have a reasonable conversation and just say like, regardless of the rumors, like I was going through a lot that weekend and you like really came at me pretty hard.
And on top of it, Whitney's like, Justin loses his job,
Right.
and
Yes. And there's
you
that.
didn't reach out. And Heather, I didn't believe this that she didn't know.
There's no way she didn't know. Because didn't
Yeah,
Justin make a post about it?
yes.
Yes. There's no way she didn't know.
But her defense was like, I've been so busy that I haven't been like on social
Making my
media.
fake choir.
But you have like an assistant. There's
there's no way that someone didn't tell, or the producers didn't tell her. Come on.
Right.
There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, I didn't believe that for a second. And even again, like I'm tired of Whitney and I'm tired of Heather. However, like you said, I'm on Whitney's side for this, especially because Whitney did what Heather. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Heather has done this in different ways, so that let me not make this like an absolute. But with recency bias, Whitney did say to Lisa, who is her like blossoming new friend,
Yeah.
like, no, I do think it's fucked up what you did with
Yes,
this whole
she had her
obituary
back.
thing. And,
Yeah, she had her back.
and it wasn't. It was like directly to her face, and it wasn't like I don't know. There's just been ways where, yeah, Jen Shaw, I mean, with like Heather and Jen Shaw, Heather's like, oh my God, that's despicable, but then has the opportunity to like back her friend up and then doesn't, where Whitney could have said to Heather, like, oh my God, I can't believe Lisa did this, and then turn to Lisa and be like, no, it's not that bad what you did. It's okay. I get why you did it. Like, no, she stood up for Heather when Heather wasn't around.
And she also said, like, you should probably call Heather before going to her event.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she had Heather's back completely in that moment. And she went, I believe what she was saying is that she went to Heather's event to be supportive of Heather. Like, she wasn't going to bring anything up there at her event, at her choir thing. Like, that's why she's having a one-on-one conversation with her about it now. Just because they had a little spat doesn't mean she's not going to be a supportive friend to her overall. Like, it's not a friendship ending, like, argument that they got into. It was just like, hey, we have this issue that we have to work out, but like, we're still friends. So I'm going to show up for you. Doesn't mean there's not still something lingering. There's not an elephant in the room. But Heather's like, well, you came to my thing and whatever. So I didn't know. It's like, what? It's not black and white.
Right. So Heather, like you said, Heather just like quickly becomes the victim in all of it.
And like an asshole.
Yeah. And it was like, I'm sitting there. I actually was thinking of you. I'm like, Katie's going to be so mad that she has to like be on Whitney's side.
I literally tweeted that. I said, Heather Gay's really going to make me be on Whitney's side, isn't she? Like, she's really going to make me back Whitney, isn't she?
I didn't see that tweet. But when I was watching, I'm like, oh man, Katie's gonna be
You
so
know me
mad
so
at
well.
this.
I tweeted almost exactly that. Heather Gay
That's
is really going to make me side with Whitney and her fillings, huh? That's what I tweeted.
her fillings. Dude, the subreddit goes in on her fillings and
Her
her
fillings and her hilling.
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 People were like almost exclusively typing it.
Yeah.
Fillings and
Yeah,
hilling.
it's rough. It's rough.
uh yeah, I've said it already. I'm annoyed with Whitney being the centerpiece of shit. However, in this, I am on Whitney's side because
Yeah.
Whitney to me is at least trying to handle these discrepancies, these
Mm-hmm.
like the fights they're having in their relationship like an adult, where
Yeah.
Heather is like hiding behind being busy and being stressed like no one else is busy or stressed.
Right. And getting super defensive and just being weird. Like, she's just getting, every time it comes up, she just gets really mean. She won't have an adult conversation. She's acting like a little kid. She's just like kicking and screaming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Team Whitney,
Yeah.
I guess.
I guess. Look at us.
Whitney also had we were talking about Heather. Oh no, we're still with Heather, not with Whitney. Okay. So there's that. And then we also have Heather versus Lisa Barlow.
Yeah.
And I'm already blanking, but like, oh no. So was there anything before the obituary thing that.
Well, at the reunion, this is why I feel like the editing is so weird because they went on this trip, unless maybe this was after I don't know what's going on, but they went to this trip and this obituary thing didn't come up. Did they start filming before the reunion aired? Is that what happened?
I have no idea.
That could make sense if they started filming after they taped the reunion, but before the reunion aired, and then went to Scottsdale.
There's no way, because remember they made everybody watch the last like 5 episodes of the season so that they could see Lisa's hot mic moment.
Yeah, but they filmed the reunion way before the reunion aired.
So you think that there's 2 months in between filming ending for season 2 and starting for season 3.
My conspiracy theory hat is on that they started filming maybe like a couple of weeks before and then the reunion aired. So it like brought these things back up or something. Because otherwise the timeline doesn't make sense because they already have been out a bunch of times. And this like text message thing has already been out there. So it's like, why were you guys out in Scottsdale, Arizona totally fine? And then all of a sudden you're back in Salt Lake City and this is all coming up after the fact. It's like weird. So I feel like there was like a reunion airing somewhere there. I don't know. Something must have happened. Or maybe like part 1 of the reunion aired and the part 2 didn't air. Something, I don't know. It's weird.
They kept saying like when we were in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I think that was the
referencing the reunion.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they've gone. We saw them leave from Salt Lake to Arizona.
Yeah, like that. I feel like maybe that trip was before the reunion actually played on TV because they filmed it pretty early, I think, because we saw those reunion outfits a long time before we actually saw the reunion.
I guess so maybe what we're thinking then is that like, do you think the reunion aired and then someone was like, oh yeah, but here's the obituary, tags Lisa Barlow in it?
Probably. And then she reposted it. Yeah, that's probably what happened. What happened. Or something like that. But so she's upset because, or Heather's upset because supposedly Lisa said, hope your dad is feeling better after he died, but he actually didn't die yet. He was in hospice.
Right. And Heather Gay is trying to say that they're the same thing. Lisa's trying to say, I texted you when he was in the hospital, and then I texted you after he passed away. And Heather is saying, like, no, the only thing you did was text me, hope your dad's getting better, when we were, like, bringing him home to die with family.
So here's the thing. I have had a dad who was in hospice who passed away, and I can tell you almost every single person that didn't send me one text message. I don't think I would be mad if someone sent me, like, I hope your dad is feeling better. regardless if they know he's in hospice or not, like it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the sentiment. At least they're texting you, like, and
Yeah.
giving you well wishes. It's like I clocked every person that never said a word to me about it. But like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not nitpicking the things that people said to me
Yeah.
if they said anything at all. You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of people who said nothing, but the people who said something, I'm not like nitpicking what they said. Some of that stuff, it's uncomfortable when people are sick. You don't always know
Mm-hmm.
the right thing to say. It's like a little strange to be using this to be like, well, Lisa Barlow's a fucking bitch because she texted me when my dad was in hospice. It's like she doesn't know the minute by minute updates of what's going on with your dad. Like, that's weird, and that's weird to expect of someone. You should be thankful that she even reached out.
And I don't think that Lisa Barlow is evil enough of a person
No,
to use Heather's dad as like a weapon to take shots at Heather.
no, I don't think so either. I really don't. I really don't. She's done nothing on the show that shows us that she's like evil to use something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like a weird thing that Heather is upset about.
Yeah,
I
her
don't know
bringing
that
it
I
up.
agree with tweeting the obituary is the
Oh,
right move.
I don't think it is either.
Yeah.
And if to me, like right now, well, because again, you have to think of the timing of all this. So Lisa's hot mic moment airs, or the women see it,
Yeah.
and like what, a couple months later, like Lisa is undisputedly in like full on defense, like first team defense NBA. Well, they won first team defense, so like defensive player of the year player mode style, right? And so here she is, like her her letting like needing to clear her name be the motivator for doing this versus like what's it's clearly what's more important to her is her name being cleared from lying
Right. Right.
versus the relationship with Heather.
Right.
And I mean, if you don't value Heather or her relation your friendship with her that much, that's fine, but there's still a way to
I
do
wouldn't
it.
if I were Lisa because they don't have a
No,
friendship. So I would. I'm not saying I would have done that, but like, I don't blame her for
you
not.
I don't I think she could have very easily I mean, you probably would have gotten like better ratings out of it, to be honest, to bring it directly to Heather at like a dinner or something, like, oh hey, by the way, look
Right.
at what was sent to me, versus like involving Twitter and everyone else, because then it's like we're watching it, but this tweet actually happened how long
Yeah.
ago? And
Yeah.
um to see like the reaction in the moment. But I don't blame Lisa for feeling like she needs to clear herself of every lie because she was caught in a pretty shitty moment on the hot mic that
Yeah.
like full on defense, but the way she did it, yikes.
Big yikes. Big yikes.
So there's that. We said Whitney had Heather's back in terms of
Mm-hmm.
like telling Lisa it's kind of shitty that you did this, and Lisa still showed up and sang at Heather's choir.
An all-time housewives moment for me, honestly. Lisa Barlow is one of the most iconic housewives of all time. She is like up in the ranks for me. She's an icon.
I'm laughing because it took me so long to get over her hearing her say this when she said, "I know I'm important to God."
She I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know. I'm kind of obsessed with her.
I know I'm important to God. And then I actually tweeted about her recently because she said something that I was like, this is a Twitter bio if I've ever seen one.
Oh, tell me. She already is
Oh,
my Twitter header.
I mean, oh, I deserve, or I've never done a sexual favor for anything. And then this
Oh,
sentence, I
yes.
think, is a Twitter bio. I deserve presents for
Just for
breathing.
breathing. Yeah. I deserve presents for breathing. Iconic. An icon.
The shit she says
She's an
is,
icon.
wow. I know I'm important to God. Like I am not religious. I am
No.
very much an atheist, but hearing someone say that who is religious, like That is just a wild statement. I was cracking up so much. I was like, did I hear that right? I rewound it and make sure I heard it right.
Yeah, she is the thing that I love about her is that she doesn't try so hard to be like a good housewife, like what we talked about last week with Meredith wearing like her own merchandise and whatever. Like Lisa just says these things that just end up being like in the ether because they're just so outlandish. And that's what makes a great housewife is that she's not self-aware enough to realize the shit that's coming out of her mouth. And that's what we need. These are the types of housewives that we need.
It's so good. Just so
I
good.
also like this Away in a Manger song. I've never heard the song in my life, but it's in my head like onions, chop it up. Like it's like an
Tokyo's
earworm.
been
Yes,
putting
like
out a
Tokyo.
couple more of those on his Instagram. I don't know if
Oh
you've
shit,
seen.
I haven't seen. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're like Tokyo's recipe songs
I
on the
think
Real
they're
World.
from a little while ago though, because in one of the videos he's shirtless, and I
Mm,
don't think that it matches the same body that we saw in New Orleans, but
got
I
it.
will still take the music
Oh
regardless.
yeah, whatever. I'll take the music.
Um,
I hope he's doing well. I hope he's still friends with everybody.
he's very much on a free Brittany Griner kick at the moment. That's his like
Oh,
life
well, good for
passion.
him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Um, Shit. Yeah, that song. And it was funny when she was like, well, I'm the only one that can audition because I'm the only one that can sing out of all of us.
She really was like she really like tried to. She thought she was doing something.
Her
And then she's like,
husband,
"Is that it?" At the
when
end, it
she,
was just like amazing.
when she was practicing in front of her husband, and she's like, no, 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 that's not it. He's like, you're right, that's not it. And just like
I
agreed
have to
with
go
everything.
lower. I have to go
Just,
lower.
yeah. Yes. And you had like the men on the end of the judges who were like, oh my God, that was so great. And then Heather just sitting there like,
Like, yeah, just like shocked to see her.
it's still her singing in
Yeah,
seriousness.
so good. It's so good.
And then afterwards, Heather and Lisa get into it because the obituary thing comes up, and Heather is like, listen, no one here is your friend. And Lisa's like, raise your hand if you're not my friend here. And it's only Heather and Angie who don't
Yeah,
raise their hand. I was surprised that Meredith didn't raise her hand.
me
But
too.
also, like, I guess I shouldn't say surprised. I kind of wish Meredith raised her hand. Like, don't sit here and talk all this shit in confessionals. Like, you're gonna talk the talk, walk the walk, Meredith.
Right, right, right. I agree. I agree. Meredith is just not it for me.
I agree with that. Um, oh, don't start digging the floor, dog. I see
Uh
you.
oh.
Um, is there anything else from Lisa that we need to talk about?
No, I mean she's just like going through a lot of stuff with her family, but I'm just sorry, Lisa. I'm not
Yeah, I don't
interested.
care about her family's divorces, to be
No,
honest.
it's weird to me that like yeah, I mean her whole storyline is that her family's her sisters are getting divorced, which is like weird. But it's weird to me that she's not more upset about the Instagram account since it was really made to attack her. We're not really like getting a lot of like rage from her. It's like all from Jen Shaw.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know. I almost kind of like that she's handling it that way versus like
Me too. Like pay
giving
it dust. Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there was something else. Oh, she is like recommitting herself to God. She has realized that her relationship with God is what's been missing from her life.
Sure.
So we'll see how
Whatever
that
you say.
progresses.
Yeah.
Uh, have we talked about everybody? No, well we were talking about Heather. We kind of switched into
Oh,
Lisa.
we didn't talk about Whitney.
Oh, yeah. So her husband lost her job, her husband lost his job because of her.
Yeah, so she was like, "Oh, they're saying that because your wife is successful in a public." And I'm like, "No, that's not what they're saying. They're saying you guys had naked sex painting on TV and that's a bad look for our company, so you're fired." That's what they said. It has nothing to do with the fact that like your wife is a successful woman.
No, it's because of what you made us watch on national television last year.
Yeah. Made us, forced us to.
Given
You
like
held my eyes open like this and made me watch.
I don't know what company he worked for, so I don't know if I necessarily agree that like he should have been fired for this. Um, because I feel like people do more egregious things, but like I don't know. I guess like let me put my words together. The first district I taught in, there was basically a morality clause where I
Mm-hmm.
could get fired if I did something unbecoming of the school district,
Yeah.
which uh, I think it's loosened up a little bit since like social media is more like commonplace than I think it was 10 years ago. But like I had my principal pull me into his office and tell me that I basically like I shouldn't drink in the town that I worked in, and
What?
yeah, like I shouldn't if I'm at like dinner or something. You don't know who you're gonna see. You don't want that getting back to people, and two that like even if I'm like out or I shouldn't like don't get drunk. Don't, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing. My boss told me that. I'm like
Yeah, that's wild.
I'm like 24, 25. Like what else are my hobbies supposed to be right now, buddy? Um so things like that, like you could I if they if I was drunk at a restaurant in town and a parent saw me and like took a video and showed it to my principal, like I could have lost my job
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
So does his company have something like that? And even still, if they did, is it justified? But like her reasoning for it is like what she thinks of her being successful, and this is not it. It's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
He that's tough.
It is tough. And I can understand. So, like, working at it sounded like he was at a pretty high up at a marketing company or an advertising company or something like that. So, working in sort of a similar-ish field or just working at a large company, like, I can understand if it was disruptive to your company where everybody's sharing
Mm-hmm.
videos around and it's making you look bad and people aren't going to respect you as a C level or whatever level executive you are. Like, that I can kind of understand. Like, if it's disruptive to like the culture of the company, which sounds very capitalist of me and I don't mean it to, but like I kind of get it. Like if you're in a really high up position and then you all of a sudden become a public figure, like things are like that are going to happen. So maybe just like don't film like a softcore porn scene for the housewives because your wife asked you to. Like just don't do it. Just be like, "Ooh, this is going to like spread. People are going to talk about this. Let's just not do this."
Right. No, I mean, for the way that Whitney described his job, that like he was important for
Right.
the role, then there also does come a responsibility with that. And so
I'm just thinking if like my like chief revenue officer at my job or something was in a video like this, like it would be everywhere at my company.
mhm,
Like everybody would know about it. You know what I mean? Especially I mean it's on television. Like you just it's like a lot. It's a lot.
mhm,
You have to be more careful at a larger company too, I think. Like it's like those companies actually care about their reputation. It's not like you're at a startup.
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like, I get it. It sucks that it happened, and um, maybe in hindsight, you take a different route. But
Yeah.
um, he lost his job because of his wife.
I actually like him. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but I like him. He seems like a nice guy.
Um, I actually remember his name this time. His name is Justin, right?
Justin, yeah. Mhm.
Last week
Mhm.
we couldn't remember.
Right, right. No, I think
You're
I said
just
he doesn't look like a Justin, maybe.
no, we weren't sure. You're like, because I was like,
Oh,
I don't
right,
remember his name, and
right.
then
And I
you're
think I
like, I
said you
think
could
it's
just tell me his
Justin,
name as
and I was
anything.
like, yeah, you could tell me like any standard white dude's
Hmm.
name, and
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
believe you.
yeah. He looks like a
So
Frank to me.
I Frank and Joe were on Chicks in the Office, so I have to check out clips from that. But anyway, sidetrack.
Hmm.
I think Frank and I think that Frank. As long as his name isn't Joe, there's too many Joes in this
Yeah, yeah,
goddamn
yeah.
universe.
Way too many.
And then
I was going to say, actually, speaking of Franks and Joe's, this gives me the same, because we know Louis, Teresa's husband now,
mhm,
was fired from his job because
mhm.
of the Housewives. So, I mean, it happens, I guess, you become a public figure and bad stuff comes out about you or embarrassing stuff comes out about you and your company wants nothing to do with you. And this
Yeah.
also leads credence, by the way, to me. It's all coming together to me now. All of this stuff is just airing. And that's why all the fallout is happening on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I
That's
got
like no,
confused
that's okay.
because I thought I closed the door and Nitro doesn't have thumbs to be able to open the door. So
I think the door's been open like the whole time.
okay, I thought I
I
closed
think
it.
it's been open.
Okay. Good. I'm glad.
I
I'm
think.
less freaked
I didn't
out
see it
than
open. I think I would have
yeah, you would
noticed
have
it.
noticed. I think I would have
Yeah.
probably seen it open behind me as
Yeah.
well. So I just maybe okay. No confusion anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, but the timing of this makes me think because that happened in the finale of season 2. So that makes me
Hmm.
think the finale just aired. Maybe reunion part 1 also just aired like the next week. So the fallout of the text about the dad and because I don't remember if that was in the part 1 I think that was part 1 of the reunion, maybe. I don't remember, or part 2. But it's just like, he had to go to the board has to make a decision and whatever. So maybe it's like a 2-week time period since the episode aired and he got fired. That's what
Hmm.
I think. Like maybe filming overlapped
That
with
makes
when the show was
sense.
still airing. This is my timeline in my head.
That makes complete sense. All right. Do we need to talk about anything else? I think we've covered a
No,
lot
I
of
think we've
it.
covered it. Yeah.
So,
We're off
in,
to San Diego, I guess,
yeah,
soon.
the TLDR is that Angie's husband made a Finsta, as
Yep.
as Whitney kept calling it, and
Yep.
there's fallout from that, as well as from Lisa Barlow retweeting an obituary to prove that she was right and Heather was wrong about the timing of text messages.
Yep.
And Whitney's husband lost his job due to her
Yeah.
because
Yep.
she's a successful woman. They don't want to see her thrive, not in the Mormon culture.
No, according to Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do with the naked painting. Ass
Nothing,
slapping. Bent over ass slapping.
nothing at all.
Yeah. Nothing at all.
All right. And so now we have Potomac. And I am appreciating Candace more and more this season than I have like in prior seasons. I was never like anti Candace, but sometimes her like quick reactions just kind of make me be like, all right, you're being like dramatic, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
But Candace this season is I first of all, the confessional look of like the hood
The
up
hood, love it.
with like the hooded gloved like the gloved hoodie or whatever, and just was like perfectly fit the shadiness of what she was
Love
talking
it.
about in those confessionals. Oh man. I'm really appreciating Candace this season.
Me too. I feel like Candace and Ashley are the only two that really have a lot of things going on this season. Like, I don't care about Robin's prenup. I don't really care about like anything that anyone. I think we will start to hear more about Karen, but right now it's just like Karen and Charisse like don't want to be in the same room as each other. But I
Mm-hmm.
think Candace and Ashley right now are like really carrying the season. As they
Yeah.
do. I mean, I think, Giselle, not to say I'm not entertained by all the other women. I am. I just think the meat of this show right now is sitting with the the meat is they're the sandwich, everyone else is the bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, with Candace, we find out that she stopped the IVF
Mm-hmm.
treatment. Her follicles weren't responding or something. I don't know. I don't understand that at all. But
Neither do I. Yeah.
it could be induced by stress, which she implied, saying that like I stopped the IVF because of these women.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
Ashley was like, "These women will bring you up. Don't worry," and she's like, "I had to stop IVF because of these women."
Yeah. What do you think
So,
about Candace and Ashley being friends and like hanging out at Candace's house? I kind of liked it.
I liked it for the 45 minutes it existed.
I
And
know.
then,
Sad.
well, Candace made the point, like, Ashley brought me into this group of women. And
Yeah, which I kind of
now,
forgot.
yeah, me too. Um, and then now I'm like, I was enemies with her for so long and now becoming friends with her again.
Yeah.
And, um, no, I liked it because I mean, Candace had a point. Like, we're the younger ones, and we both were in the pageant world, and they both did music to different varying degrees of success. And
Yeah, I would use that lightly for Ashley.
so I feel like in a perfect world they would get along. Like they could almost be the counter to Giselle and Robin if they were
Yeah.
to really
Yeah.
like focus on cultivating a friendship. I don't think that'll ever happen, but
No, I don't think so.
no, I when they get along, it's great. It's kind of like when we have like Kenya and Marlo getting along. Like
Yes,
those
that's
are fun
almost exactly
times.
what it's like. Yeah. I loved when Kenya and Marlo were friends.
Yeah.
They were good together.
Unfortunately, just a short blip of friendship during during this.
Yeah.
So, uh I feel like I feel like Candace is like involved in things, but not necessarily has anything like prominent. Like it's gonna be more when we talk about like Robin asking Candace for a favor, or
Hmm.
when we get to like what was it called? Like it's not the burn book, the burn
Oh, yeah, that like whatever it's called.
Wendy's thing.
Yeah, Wendy's thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, whatever it was,
Something burn
but
session.
yes. So yeah, maybe it was called burn session. That makes sense. But yeah, I don't know if I have like too much to say specifically about Candace individually
Yeah, I
in
feel
these two
like
episodes.
I feel like how we just talked about Salt Lake was easy to do based on each cast member, but this I feel like it's just more thematic of what it feels like there's
Yeah.
two pieces of story going on here. It's like Robin versus Wendy and Candace and Chris situation now
Yeah.
Ashley's getting herself re-involved in. The rest is like side stuff that's not really that interesting to talk about.
So before we get into yeah, so let's talk about it that way. So before we get into Robin versus Wendy, because I think that that's like kind of the main thing at this moment,
Yeah.
is that in the Ashley Candace lunch, whatever they had, Karen gets brought up.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets brought up that Karen thought she was being sneaky going out of town and meeting up with someone. And like they both agree that they've heard these rumors.
These rumors have kind of been on the show. We've
Yeah,
even
and
flashed back to like Blue Eyes or whatever.
right. And so I don't know if you saw the tweet that I got Frank to respond to when he said he will come on our podcast, which
Yeah.
was I retweeted Queens of Bravo um, saying something along the lines of like, Giselle says that Charisse has information that she says about Karen on the show that not even Giselle would say out loud. Like
Right.
Charisse says it. And that's when I tagged Frank and I was like, if Frank doesn't come on our podcast to talk about
Oh,
this,
I
then we're
didn't even
breaking
see. No,
up.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I straight up said like if Frank I tagged him, if Frank doesn't come on our podcast to talk about this, then we're breaking up. And so he DM'd me.
Love it.
um so it seems like Charisse is gonna come out and like say it. But I think we're getting like a little bit of a warm up here.
Yeah, I think this is why Karen wants nothing to do with Sharice. She's just keeping her distance. I don't even think she wants to like confront her because obviously there's something clearly that Sharice has to say.
Mm-hmm. It is wild how obvious it is that Karen is avoiding
Obvious, so
Charisse.
obvious. Yeah.
It um so my dad's mom, not a fan of my mom.
Okay.
Um the reason why is that like so my dad's name and my dad's name are both the same like so not to put my dad's name out there. So we'll make up two names. Like it's
Okay.
Robert James.
Like a senior and a junior.
Yeah, but there's no like senior or junior
But
with
like
their
the same,
name.
yeah, but
Yeah,
like the
so
same
yeah,
name.
but same idea. So like I never met my dad's dad. So my grandfather, he was like a Robert James. My dad, Robert James, and my grandmother, I guess she didn't even like go to my parents' wedding.
Oh shit.
But yeah, uh, she wanted to my parents name their first son Robert James, and my mom was like, no, but I'll name him James Robert, because she liked what they both have as a middle name. She's like, actually like the name, so like I'll switch it and that's fine. And since then, grandma was like, fuck everything about you guys.
Oh
So
my god.
it, the reason I make this this point is because every time Karen Huger is like, oh man, gotta go, or like I'm not showing up, it reminds me of my uncle used to live on like the second floor of the house that my grandmother lived on the first floor of. And
Okay.
my mom, me, I can't remember how many of my brothers were born at this point. If like both of them were, they must have been, because I'm like old enough to distinctively remember this. So like the three of us are there. So my grandma starts coming up the stairs, and my aunt was like, oh, grandma, like Karen and the kids are here. And she's like, oh, I gotta go to work, and turns around and goes back downstairs. The bitch had retired like 7 years earlier.
Oh my god. That is wild.
And like, so when I see this, I'm like, that's my grandma right there. Like, that was my grandma
Wow.
avoiding us like the fucking plague.
Wow, that's wild. That's wild.
So, uh, I just like Charisse, I get it. I've had people treat me like that too.
Yeah. Oh
I
man.
I will never forget her being like, I have to go to work, and I turned to my mom and my aunt and be like, I thought she retired. Both of them
Yeah.
just like didn't know how to respond to me, because it was like I was smart enough to know, but they didn't think I was old enough to like deserve a response.
Oh man.
But in hindsight, wow, yeah. So anyway, that I just I really connect with these Potomac ladies.
Yeah. That's
um,
wild.
yes. I hope that when Cherie says this stuff, that like I can't wait for that episode.
Yeah, no, I can't either. I feel like it's going to be pretty explosive.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so we didn't get a lot of Charisse besides her showing up to the field. Sorry, just like I didn't like burp, but I just got like air in my like throat.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, so Nala Charisse, she showed up to field day, and she's a part of a FaceTime call during the burn session that we'll talk about later. Um,
Yes.
but when she does show up, I am ready. Bring on this information. Giselle teased us, and now I need it.
I
I
know. I
want
need
it.
it too. I want it.
Um, we don't get like too much of an update on the Chris part of this whole storyline until the burn session, besides like Chris and Candace's sister and Candace are sitting around like having a glass of wine or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris is just like, I want nothing to do with them. If
Yeah.
you're even going to talk about these people, I'm leaving the room. But then Ashley brings up stuff later that I think we'll get more of next week. So the Chris stuff, I think, is like building a bit more.
Yeah. And I feel like if we even just tie it back to what we were just talking about with Justin and his job, like if Chris is being accused of being inappropriate or making women feel uncomfortable, and he works like in the hospitality industry or he's a manager or whatever, it's just like not a good look. Like this kind of stuff, if it's not true, right? Like who knows what's true and what's not true at this point. It seems like whatever they have is, it's not holding water at this point, but like who knows about the other DMs? Like we don't really know what the story is. But that would make me, I wouldn't want to engage in any conversation about this either, because that like they Candace and Chris are not like rich. You know what I mean? It's not like if Chris loses. I feel like they need both of their incomes and they work really hard and they
Yeah.
have a lot of things going on and they're trying to have a kid eventually. And like that could be pretty damaging to him. So I don't blame him for not wanting to engage in that at all. Like if they're trying to make him out to be the next Michael Darby, like that fucked Michael Darby shit up.
No, I'm on Chris's side with this
Yeah,
as of the information that we have right now.
me too. As yes,
And
with the caveat of yes,
yeah.
based on what we know now, there was no ill intention. If Giselle felt uncomfortable, like I totally get that, but like I don't think there was any ill intent there.
I
And
think
even
one of
Giselle kind of made it seem like, yeah, no, I don't think he was trying to make me uncomfortable. I'm just letting you know I
yeah,
felt uncomfortable.
right. And if anything, I might have respected like Giselle's push on this more if she like also brought up the fact, and it came up once, but like Chris was drinking a lot throughout the last season and he was definitely drunk in that
Right.
moment. So like if you were to say like I felt uncomfortable, I don't want to be seen in the optics, any sort of optics, because I mean like she's attached to a serial cheater through her ex-husband and like I'm sure knows what all that is like, but on
Who
top
was
of the
trending
fact,
on Twitter this week? Did you see his video about Raphael Warnock?
yeah,
Great
yeah,
job, Jamal. When I
yes.
saw him, I was like, why are these political people retweeting Jamal onto my timeline? What the fuck is going on? And then I was like, oh shit.
Well, when I first saw it, I was like, this is the same Jamal Bryant. There can't be two
Well,
Jamal
I saw the
Bryants, right?
video and I didn't say, it was just somebody retweeting it saying, holy shit. And I was like, this is Pastor Holy Whore. And then I was like, I gotta watch this. Maybe he did something crazy. I don't really know. And then I watched it and I was like, oh shit, this was like really great. This is a great video.
Yeah, no, he did a great job. I did watch that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think like if she had said like, listen, he was drunk, not implying that he would do anything, but like to be alone in a room with someone who's not my husband, who's been
Mm-hmm.
drinking, like to me, that overall, all of these things made me feel uncomfortable. I'm not saying he would have, but then she like goes on to say like, oh, he's a sneaky link, which like I don't even know if she knows what that means, but in the context that she used it,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I think Chris is getting the short end of a stick as of at least right now.
Yeah. Totally. I agree. I agree.
I feel like we got a lot of Mia unnecessarily.
I don't even honestly care to talk about Mia. She's like she barely exists to me in the show.
I think she's doing an okay job in her confessionals, but her storyline, like I'm
Yeah,
not.
she's like, I just don't care.
Yeah, like she's good in her confessionals, but I mean, so are the rest of these women. So right now, she isn't giving me anything that I need in terms of like justifying her existence on the show.
Yep. Same.
But
Completely. Completely agree.
she also, I mean, like, given if she was on almost any other cast, she'd probably be like one of the top housewives in
Oh,
that city.
probably. Yeah.
Um, However, you're on a loaded cast.
You are. It's tough. Tough to stand out when you're in a group of all stars.
So the last like big thing is Robin versus Wendy, which leads into the burn session. So at TikTok Ashley's dance class,
Yeah.
as Wendy's husband calls her,
Yeah. Yeah. TikTok Ashley.
TikTok Ashley, her dance class, an argument ensued because Robin was like, listen, do not make it seem like it was only me and Giselle questioning Mia about her whole health scare when it was everyone, like
Right.
including you and Robin.
Right.
And Wendy's like, you're a liar. You're a liar. Now, unfortunately, and I so wish that like one of the producers would just like give Robin the footage of like the hot mic and be like,
Oh,
yo,
me too. Me
how good
too.
would that be?
It would
How
be
like
great.
I don't care if that's overproducing. That's the right amount of producing I want. But
Yeah. Well, we'll get it. We'll definitely get it.
yeah, oh, I mean the reunion part of this is going to be phenomenal. So,
Yeah.
um we have this argument going, they're going back and forth, and at one point Wendy's like, be 10 toes down for once, and Robin's like, I am 10 toes down, and gets up and starts walking towards Wendy. And then after this, Robin is talking about her family fun day that she is having. And she invites everybody in the room except Wendy. She like goes around and is like, you're invited, you're not invited, you're invited.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it.
I think the reason why I love Robin so much is because to me she is very level-headed. But
Yeah.
when she does decide to get mad, get petty, I don't know if there's been a time when it hasn't been justified. And
Yeah.
so she like, but when she does get that way, she goes to a 10 real quick.
Oh, yeah. For sure. For sure. She doesn't hold back.
I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it.
She's great.
So she doesn't invite Wendy, but then in talking to Juan Dixon after they practice the potato sack race, the sack race in their backyard, which, by the way, some of the best trash talking I've ever seen on Housewives happened in this scene when I think Carter is the younger son, and he's like, Robin was like, "Hey, your dad was a world class athlete. He might be good at this." And the kid goes, "Yeah, he was a world class bench player." I was like, "Oh,
yeah, pretty great. Yeah,
get him some ice for that burn shit." Like,
that feels like it was 100 years ago in my brain. By the way,
really?
Yes, I guess you just watched it today, right?
Yeah, I just watched.
Yeah,
it
this feels like
morning.
it was like 100 years. I guess because tomorrow, or technically right now for me, is Sunday, so that was
Oh,
like
yeah.
3 weeks ago in my brain.
Yeah. You have another Potomac episode coming out tonight. I have to wait
do.
an hour until I can technically say it's
Yes,
tonight.
I
do. So yeah, there was that. But Robin comes to this idea with Juan of like, okay, maybe I will ask Candace, since she doesn't have kids, to call up Wendy and be like, hey,
Yeah.
why don't I take your kids to this? Which, what'd you think of this plan?
Yeah. I don't know about this. I feel like it's not the end of the world that your kids were not invited to. Your kids don't know that they're not invited to a thing.
Yeah.
But Wendy kind of made it about like, wow, my kids, like we've actually had a play date. Like, you know, my kids. But it's like, well, if I'm not inviting you, I'm not inviting your kids. So I think Robin like tried, but I get it. Like, I probably wouldn't have sent my kids either. Because again, like the kids don't know they're missing something. And if I'm not welcome there, then I'm not letting my kids go. Like if I'm not allowed to bring my own kids, then like my kids are not coming.
I loved Candace's confessional about this. She's like, yeah, sure, I'll try, but Wendy's going to tell me to go to hell.
Yes.
And then she's going to tell me to go tell Robin to go to the hell below that hell.
Yeah. 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 Which seems like is exactly what happened.
Yeah. So there's that little component of it. Karen Huger was very almost like appalled, I guess, that Robin invited everybody except Wendy to this. Which I feel like Karen has done far shadier things. Karen likes
it's really
to try
not
and be
that big of a deal.
the voice of reason, but is like the dramatic one of them all.
Yeah, it's really not that serious that she wasn't invited.
Yep. So family field day happens, and then we get Wendy. Who is Wendy talking to? It was Ashley. Was there anybody else there? Oh yeah, they went like flower picking or something. Karen,
right.
too,
Karen was there. Yeah, Karen was there.
talking about how she's going to bring them to this winery to have this burn session. And Ashley's like, well, why don't you send like a separate text to Zell and Robin? And when he's like, no, they should be happy they're getting a text at all. And she's like, yeah, but like it might seem like more sincere if you text them to the side. And she's like, no, I want them to see them using the same wording with everybody. And Wendy not having it, having this any extra.
I didn't
effort
disagree with Ashley here.
No,
it's like you're trying to like make things better and get everything out in the open. So why don't you just like put in like an inch more of effort to smooth things over?
I get that this type of stuff is good TV.
Yeah.
However, like when has any single event in Housewives history when they've had the intention of doing like a Festivus airing of grievances
Yeah, it never goes
worked
well.
out.
Never, never, never.
When has it ever gone down peacefully?
Never.
And so I know that like we're doing it for TV, but also I'm just like, oh, here we go. What's coming
Yeah.
from this? So Wendy sends out the invite, everybody accepts it. And Wendy and Ashley take their own car up to the winery and
Yeah.
sends everybody else in a Sprinter van.
Yep. Yep. I love a Sprinter. I mean, we love a Sprinter van.
Mm-hmm. But no real drama on the Sprinter van.
No, and I was kind of surprised because Candace was there with Gisette. It was a small group in the van,
Yeah.
but it seemed like Candace really just kept to herself.
Yeah. Candace seems to be taking she's trying to do a Zen Wen approach to a lot of things, more
Yes.
so than she has in the past.
Yes. I appreciate it. I've always been a Candace fan, so whatever approach she takes, I'm usually on her side, which is not a popular opinion, but this season it seems to be a popular opinion, so.
I think part of it is if you like pop off about everything, then your pop offs lose meaning.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And maybe Candace is like growing into that because there's things that deserve a full on Candace explosion.
Yeah.
Like the reaction she had to walking out on Giselle and calling out the producer and being like, go fuck yourselves if you think this is what you're going to do, I think was completely justified.
Oh,
But
me
if
too.
you have that type of reaction to everything,
I
then
think that was a completely reasonable. I don't even think that was like, I think
same.
she could have like gone off and she didn't. She
Yeah.
just left.
Yeah. No, I agree. But even like that has more impact if she's not always responding in that way. And I
Mm-hmm.
think in prior seasons, Candace was very quick to just throw a butter knife across the room or
Yeah.
other similar things.
Yeah.
So even at this later on the burn session, we see it takes a bit for Candace to escalate. She even is like the voice of reason a time or two in these conversations. But so yeah, we have the Sprinter van, we have the SUV. They get there, they go in, and Wendy explains that whoever's turn it is, everyone is either going to write down something that they want to air out with this person, or if they have nothing to say, that they can write like a positive affirmation for them.
Mm-hmm.
And Wendy goes first.
Yep.
And it starts like nice. And Mia is the first one to kind of be like, no, you're actually like kind of condescending and rude.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of glad that Mia said because like she is condescending and kind of rude.
Mm-hmm.
Like Wendy doesn't seem like the person I would kind of like the type of person I would be able to vibe with in real life.
No, I don't know if I would either, to be honest. And Wendy's reaction though was kind of funny, where she's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna take this and burn it."
Yeah.
Like they didn't respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Robin tells her we get along like oil and water.
Yeah.
So
And doesn't she then go
exist.
like, it's oil and vinegar?
No, well, Wendy tried to say like,
Right. Oil and vinegar, right.
I know you think we get along like oil and vinegar, and Robin's like, no, those two things actually get along really well. We are oil and water.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right.
And then like Wendy got like, I don't know, kind of condescending about it. Because I think it was Candace who said, well, like you've caused Robin to feel this way because of this. Like, are you going to address it? And she's like, she didn't write that on the paper. I don't have to address it. Like, okay, you drove us like 3 hours out here to wine fucking country to air it out. And you're going to start off by being like, well, you didn't write it on the paper.
Yeah, a joke. Like, you really expect people to write this shit on paper? Come on, that's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's not happening.
So apparently, like, Wendy was telling people that Robin was, like, going to try and fight her, which has only, like, escalated Robin's dislike for Wendy.
Yeah.
So here we get our second Charisse sighting where she's like, 1 second. And she FaceTimes Charisse and is like, did you have to put a hand on me to restrain me from, going after Wendy, and Charisse says no. But then they cut to the video,
Yeah.
and it said, or like they show her like putting her hand out. But I wouldn't call that restraining her.
No, and Charisse tweeted about this. Let me pull it up because her tweet was pretty good. Let me see if I can find her Twitter really quick. Because she was like, what I did and holding someone back is not the same thing.
Two entirely different things.
Yeah.
And you know Wendy will be like, look at the video at the reunion.
Yes. Definitely. Okay, I don't know. That's not her. Charisse.
Like, you think Robin Dixon couldn't run through Charisse if she wanted to in the way that Charisse tried to hold Robin back?
Right. Right. Is this her? Charisse Jordan? Yes, that's her. Okay. Wait. What? Maybe she didn't tweet about it. I saw something of her addressing it. Whatever. I guess it's not this. I'm confused. Her last Twitter is like a Wordle from May. Maybe I saw it on Reddit. Anyway, you don't have to hold
Charisse
for me. I'll find it.
Wordle fan.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, so at least in the moment, Charisse clears Robin's name, and Robin like flips out.
Yeah.
She's like, "You're a liar. You are a fucking liar. I'm leaving," and walks out. What do you think of like this whole exchange?
I don't know. I just find it really hard to be on Wendy's side because I just don't find her very likable. Although I think she has some points. Like, obviously, Robin was not getting violent, so that was not what the situation was. She was heated, but she was not getting violent, and Charisse didn't hold her back or have to restrain her. She was just like, okay, sit down and calm down. Like, that's very different. I don't blame Robin for leaving. I think Wendy is just a very hot button issue for Robin because like their friendship kind of went left for no reason at all. Like, they were pretty good friends in Wendy's first season, and they were like hanging out. They had play dates with their kids, and it was just like a very weird, like, I don't know. It's just their relationship is weird.
Yeah, did something happen at the end of last season? The reunion? Did they show it? I'm blinking.
Well, the issue was whatever happened with them was that there were Eddie cheating rumors last season.
Oh.
And then I guess Giselle mentioned it or something like that. And then they were at some trip somewhere. And then she was saying that like Robin and Juan were a fake relationship, even though she was like up front, like at their engagement party cheering for them.
Oh,
and, like,
right,
whatever.
right.
And I don't think they've ever become friends since then.
I mean,
and then she planned that trip and she didn't book them. She gave them a shitty room and they left and went to a hotel. It was like all that stuff.
oh, right, right. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think part of it is easier to be in a fight with Robin than it is Giselle.
Yeah.
Because Giselle will show up to your husband like tax fraud shit wearing a shirt saying like your husband should go to jail.
Right.
And
right.
Robin's much more level-headed, I think, than Giselle is, and isn't looking to cause or like stir the pot, where if you start shit with Robin, she will not back down. And so I think that like it's almost easier to be like, if you're gonna be mad at someone about that shit from last season, I think it would be Giselle more than Robin. But
yeah, I think so too.
I think it's just easier to be mad at Robin, because Robin's less likely to like lose her shit. But I mean, we saw what she did here. So, I would be mad if I'm Robin, where you're dragging me all the way out here for what? Like,
right.
You're not resolving anything. Like, you're not taking any ownership. And I don't know. I don't disagree with Robin here. I do think that Wendy's going to be annoying when they show that video of Charisse playing out. But I'm Team Robin through and through.
Same. I can't think of much that I wouldn't be Team Robin on, to be completely honest.
Yeah. And I mean, if the Charisse video is a point for Wendy, the bigger point for Robin is going to be Wendy's hot mic of well, we know Mia's lying. So,
Right, right.
um, yeah, I wasn't a fan
No.
of, and I don't blame her for leaving because what else is going to come of it?
Right. She like got in the truck and she's like, I'm putting my Uggs on.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And then after that, they're like, okay, this isn't like working. Why don't we just kind of stop this? But does Ashley initiate it
I don't
with,
remember how it comes up. But yeah, it seems like it came up from Ashley.
yeah, Ashley initiated it with Candace.
But I don't remember why like all of a sudden it would come up.
I think because they were trying to like shut it down. And
Mm-hmm.
Ashley was like, no, no, no. I actually have something that I want to say to
Right,
Candace.
right. Yeah, and
And
I really agreed with Candace here being like you were just at my house and you
mhm,
didn't say shit to me.
yeah. No, I agree with Candace. Like, obviously I appreciate Ashley as a housewife. And just what, like I've said it before and I'll say it
Yeah.
again, she should create a master class that if you are even in the talks to become a housewife,
Yes.
like you have to go through Ashley Darby's class of how to be a housewife. However,
Yeah.
in this instance, like I'm absolutely team Candace. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, no, same. And even there was a point, I don't remember exactly, maybe you remember because it's more fresh in your head, but that Ashley said something to Candace. She's like, see, there you go. Like, you just are like, you're like, have evil. Like, you come with like this evil in your heart, or like you always lead
Hmm.
with like these negative. I don't remember what she said, but like the way that Ashley was coming at Candace, it was like, truly, it was very clear she was trying to come for Candace. And it was not
Hmm.
like, oh, I'm just trying to maintain our friendship since we're in a good place. It was like, no, you're actually being an asshole. And it's very clear you're being an asshole here.
Yeah, I think it had to do with Chris, where
It did have to do with Chris. I just don't remember exactly what she
I
said.
know Ashley said that, well, Ashley like brought up, you said like my husband is a predator or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which like yeah, she did say that. And but you know that she didn't
But
say
he
that in
is.
earshot of Ashley when she like had that whole producer thing. So you know someone went and told Ashley that that's what Candace said.
He also is a predator. So,
Yeah, there's also that. And um it happened because Candace was like, you're saying this here now when in front of all these people when in the past, like I've pulled you aside privately, like, and they
right.
went back
Right.
to last
And that
year,
was when
was
they were
it?
not even friends. Yeah.
Right, right. And so for you to do this, like, shame on me because I went against my gut instinct to trust you or like
Yeah.
to allow you back in. And here you are, you wait until you have an audience to pull this shit on me. And then
Yeah.
Ashley's like, well, I know that there's other people who have DMs from Chris that are like far more innocuous than the one that I got.
Yeah. And
And
that's kind of where we end, right?
yeah,
But she
the
does say
one,
something like, what are you just going to sit and turn a blind eye? And she's like, well, you would know. And I was like, I love that.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Um, the
Like,
one
are
thing
you
we
the
did,
pot or the kettle?
am I the pot or the
No,
kettle?
like Ashley. Like the pot calling the kettle black. Like, you have no leg to stand on here. Your husband is a legit predator.
I thought you were asking me which one, like, I am in this situation. Like,
No,
I
like
think I'm
I'm saying it to
any.
Ashley. No, no,
No, no,
I'm
you're absolutely
neither.
correct. You're absolutely correct. Like, it kind of relates back to like the Jen Shaw thing of like, of all
Yeah,
people, who the fuck are you to be
right,
calling her
right,
out for this?
right,
Like, it's been on television of the fact of you forgiving this man for multiple different discretions
right.
or indiscretions. So, no, I absolutely agree. We did skip over the fact that Ashley's separation got leaked
Hmm.
before they were able to put out their joint statement. And I thought it was a little weird because she's like, I don't know who would put this out there because like my circle is small for a reason, but she was talking about it in front of Bravo producers and stuff. Like your circle
I
is
kind of
not
feel
that
like she
small.
maybe did it herself.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like
You
maybe she
want
just
you want
did
to afford
it.
your house? Pull the Teresa Judice and sell those stories, girl.
Yeah, I that's my theory.
Um, if she didn't, I just think that it's like a little naive to say, "Well, my circle is small for a reason." I
Like
mean,
you're on TV.
your circle isn't that small, and the
No.
people who like knew about it, and then add on all the TV people who are involved
Right.
in it as well. Like the circle's not that small.
No. Yeah. No.
So um, that got leaked, and now the separation is official during this point.
Yeah, he's out in Vegas not responding to her or something, right?
Yeah.
What
I
a
like how
stalk.
she sang the blocked number song. She's like, I'm getting the like doot doot. I don't even know what it sounds like when you get like if you try to call someone that's blocked you, but
Yeah, I have no idea.
um
I have
it's
no
like
clue.
this number is no longer in service. There's like the little ringtones ahead of it, and
Is
she like
that what
sang that.
happens like when someone blocks you? I have no clue.
I mean, let's put it this way. I've never called someone who's blocked me. I also don't know of anybody who's
Yeah, I'm
blocked
not
my
sure.
number. If I can only think of maybe one person who would have blocked my number in 34 years of being alive. Um, and in their defense, I deserve it. But they
Oh,
deserved what I said in order to for me to get
got
blocked.
it.
So
Okay. Okay.
you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
cause effect here.
Yep.
So I would never try to call this person anyway. Like so I don't know what happens, what it
Hmm.
sounds like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm blocked by anybody.
Yeah, and I don't even really call people. Like the only way I would probably find out is if like Lavelle decided to pick up and like leave our life together
Yeah.
and blocked me. That's like the only person I call.
Yeah.
So
Same. I have like two people I call.
yeah. Um yeah, so next week I think we're gonna get more wine or winery drama. And Candace did make the point of like, why are you bringing us to a winery? Nothing good happens at
Yeah,
a
nothing
winery.
good. She should know. She was
Yeah.
there. Wendy was there.
Yeah. So that's Potomac for us.
Yeah, that's it. I'm looking forward to seeing next week. There are some previews out there. I think Giselle and Candace have a conversation. I think there's some more Michael talk. So I think it's about to start to get pretty good. Not that it hasn't been good. It's been great. I've been enjoying
Yeah.
every single week. But it does feel like we're ramping up. This is what I like. I like a slow burn. It's
Mm-hmm.
we have story, it's going somewhere. Every week it like kind of like inches toward, but it's not boring and it's not like dragged out. Whereas I feel like Salt Lake, it's very I don't know, the storylines are kind of like all over the place.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think of these last two episodes, we had that wonky little like newspaper advertisement basically saying
Yeah,
like,
like what the
here's
hell is this
these three
show?
major points of drama coming up.
Right. Right.
And so we're dealing with three like pretty sizable points of drama. So it wasn't a lie, but where this it's like nothing right now. I would say like maybe the Wendy Robin thing has reached that because it is
Yeah.
within like it's internal, it's two women that are going head to head through this, but I mean the Michael Ashley stuff like Michael's not on camera, so we're just seeing this one side of it.
Yeah.
And Chris isn't engaging with the women, so it's really like Candace trying to like defend, but she isn't even like instigating shit. She's just responding to stuff. It's like
Right.
when they're throwing at her. So I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where it goes in less than 24 hours.
Hmm. I have one non of these two
Okay.
cities things I want to bring up, which is did you see that Ramona is officially not doing Legacy?
I did see that. I did see that.
I saw
What
that
a time.
she said she is choosing not to, but uh, the Bravo insider said
She
they
didn't get a
didn't
contract. Yeah.
extend an invitation to her, and that's
Yeah.
because she's been talking a lot of shit about.
Yeah.
the
Well, she was
show.
on Carlos King's podcast saying like
Mm-hmm.
it's the loser show, but
Yeah.
Luann has been on some podcasts. She was on Danny Pellegrino's podcast talking about it, and she's like, I don't know why she would say that because like she wanted to be on the show, and
Mm-hmm.
like Dorinda was like she's just protecting herself. Essentially, like she knew she wasn't going to be asked to be on, so she wanted to like get out in front of it basically
Yeah.
and say it wasn't her. So yeah, I don't think I'm not going to miss her. I don't think. I think her time has come.
I mean, politely, she is a 65-year-old woman. Like,
Yeah.
um, I don't need to see a 65-year-old bigot like on my TV screen
Yeah, no, we have
anymore. I
enough
mean,
of
given
those.
like I would be happy if Luann wasn't there either, but one step at a time, I guess. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not going to miss her. I get like what she was and what she like contributed to the series. Like she is a fucking nutcase. But
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna be sad about it.
No, I'm not gonna be sad about it either. I also saw that Bethany is starting a Housewives rewatch podcast, and I hate Bethany. She's one of my
Mm-hmm.
least favorite housewives. I think she's the most overrated housewife of all time. She's an asshole. But Luann on Danny Pellegrino's podcast, who I've talked about before on this podcast, he's probably my favorite Real Housewives podcast, or one of my favorite podcasters, period. He's great.
Mm-hmm.
He interviewed her, and it made a lot of press because Luann really brutally dragged Bethany, and it was every second of it was great. So you could probably find the clip out there. It's pretty good. But yeah, she's doing a Housewives rewatch podcast, even though she wants nothing to do with Housewives. And I'm pretty sure she dragged other podcasters as well. So politely, fuck you, Bethany. You came for me first. I'm a Housewives podcaster.
Well, on that note, uh, Katie,
Yes.
what are you doing online these days?
Online, you can find me at Real Sim Katie on Twitter. Like I said before, while it still exists, if you watch TJ or listen to TJ Hates Quitters, while it's still here, I'm still there. So you can follow me there. You can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSimKatie with an underscore at the end. And you can listen to me on TJ Hates Quitters. We just finished recording an episode. This is our double header. This was number 2 of 2, where we talked about this week's episode of The Challenge. We also, Chanel, Javier, and I just did our season 1 kind of like tier list ranking overview of House of the Dragon season 1. So we'll be gone from that podcast, Fire and Pod, until whenever the hell it is that show comes back, which is probably like 2024. So who knows where we'll be in this world in 2024. But yeah. Other than that, also you can hear me on The High Ground, also on Silent Podcast with Naomi, where we talk all things Andor if you are watching that show, which you should be because it's great. I think that's it.
Yeah, I saw someone on Twitter say, I mean, given he's like a hockey like media person, but he also has been on my favorite Red Sox podcast, like on and off over the last how many years. But he was like, listen, if you aren't watching the show, like it's just straight up good TV. It's not
Yeah,
just
like
like
you
for
don't
Star
need to
Wars
be.
fans.
No, it's not at all. And that's, I want to say that. You don't need to be a Star Wars fan to watch this show. It's an incredible show. And it's at the timeline in the Star Wars universe that it is, it's like all you need to know is that there's an empire and that they suck. Like that's really literally all you need to know. There's no other lore you need to know at all. Like it's very low barrier to entry and it's truly the best show that's on TV. And every character on it is like a new character. So like there's nothing you need to know.
Yeah, that's he had said like I've been holding out on saying this, but I can confidently say that like this is not just an amazing like Star Wars show. This is just
It's an
straight up an
amazing show.
amazing TV show.
Yeah, and it also I lost what I was going to say. Forget it. It's gone. But what I was going to also say is that it's one of the only shows that like makes my week feel longer because I'm waiting for it every single week. So it gets better every week is what I was going to say. Every single episode just gets better and better and better. So
Nice.
it's limited. It's only going to be 2 seasons. Check it out. There's 2 episodes left of this season and it's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm KGD26 online. I do not have any TV shows I am currently watching that I feel that passionately about. So
Sponsor me, Disney.
if you look at my Twitter, I don't even know if I'm saying anything interesting lately. Nitro, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm not doing anything interesting. My dog is though. So I'm gonna go see what he's up to after we round this up real quick. In conclusion, if good thing that Valencia's not here because I left the banner up. Okay,
Oops.
so fixed it. Where is this graphic? Here it is. So watch us on YouTube or on Twitch, search Silent Podcast and subscribe, or you can find us on Twitter at silent_podcast to see what we are up to. You can listen to us in podcast form. Apple, Spotify, anywhere else you listen to your podcast. If you do that, rate, subscribe, 5 stars, or if it's not 5 stars, then just come back for another episode. There's plenty of Silent Podcast episodes that are 5-star worthy. So
Yes.
throw the 5 stars on there. But otherwise, we'll be back next week with more Housewives content, more Salt Lake City. Do we have a new city starting soon? It's got to be Miami, right? That's probably the next one starting.
Probably the next one. I feel like we're in a little bit of a lull right now. We don't really
I
have
think
much.
Miami is starting soon.
Let's see.
Real Housewives of Miami season 5? 6? 5. Yeah, it's 5. December 8th.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I have to get caught up.
You better get going. I cannot wait for this.
Okay,
I
so I'll
wait.
prioritize that. I didn't realize that it was coming so soon.
You gotta get through season 1, but then
Yeah, it's short. Season 1 is short. I'll
it's
get
only
there.
like 7 episodes, I think.
I'll start it this week. I don't have a lot of TV I'm watching right now, so now is the perfect time.
I'm telling you, once you like get into season 2, you're not gonna want to stop. Season 2 onward, phenomenal.
Okay, perfect.
So,
all right, I'm in. I have only a couple of weeks to catch up.
Yeah, you got about 4 weeks basically. So,
yeah, we got this.
Yeah. I definitely. So I'm excited. Please text me all thoughts.
I will keep you updated on all my thoughts.
Perfect. I cannot wait for you to watch season 2.
I'm excited.
Great. Okay, so we'll be back next week and talking about Salt Lake City and Potomac again. But until then, enjoy your whenever this is, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.